Hello, my name is Vanessa Drew. Over the last year, I have been researching the relationship between West African dance and crumping. This video essay will cover both my process and my research, exploring the history of crump and African dance, as well as the steps I went through over the last year to complete this assignment. This project explores the historical and technical relationships connecting West African dance and crumping. My research consisted of long hours spent in the library researching the many facets of West African dance, including the theatrical and musical relationships to this dance form, as well as interviews and in-class studies of both Krump and West African dance taught at York University. Lastly, this project defines the similarities between performance practices and teaching styles. The first question I looked at is, what is West African dance? Through my research and practical experience, I have found that West African dance is a combination of storytelling and accompaniment from traditional West African drums and instruments. West African dance is a style deeply ingrained in tradition and culture. It is free, expressive, energetic, and loaded with history. Through my studies and research, I have found that each locale has specific dances that are common to those areas and represent different traditions and ceremonies that are celebrated through dancing. The areas that I have been studying are located in what is called the Guinea Coast. These areas are Gambia, Guinea-Bissau, Guinea, Sierra Leone, Liberia, Ivory Coast, Togo, Benin, Ghana, and Nigeria. The second question I asked is, what is crump? Crumping is a street dance popularized in South Central Los Angeles that is characterized by free, expressive, exaggerated, and highly energetic movement. It is a style of hip-hop that originated in California, drawing on elements of clowning and West African dance, such as face painting and comic expressiveness, as well as popping. It is characterized by inventive, freestyle movements, often focusing on the chest and arms, and often involving some physical contact between the dancers, suggestive of ritual battle. It has become more aggressive in tone than its clowning origins, as seen in its tie to African war paints. The rhythmic movements found in crumping can often be found in many dances of worship that find their origins tied to West African dance, such as Haitian voodoo, Afro-Cuban Regala de Oche, or Centauri, and Brazilian candomblé. It has started with a young group of adolescents in inner city California and is now performed in media and in battle or competition settings, as well as in freestyle ciphers. My last question is, what is the connection between West African dance and crumping? And where can we see it in African dance? Sometimes it seems that the arc of history bends right back to where it started from, with the connection of West African dance and crumping. With this connection, we see a continuation of the use of themes and in-depth storylines to explore the different movement styles that make up what is known as crumping. Both styles have basic movement patterns that consist of being grounded and body undulations that can be added to create different variations, as well as the use of theatrical makeup to help build characters for both dance styles. Krump was always thought to be a dance of anger, but instead it demonstrates the aesthetics of rage and utilizes the grand nature in West African dance to find the power necessary for each movement. As demonstrated in these videos, crumping and African dance share many salient movement features that can be described as connecting the dance styles to each other. In many of my interviews, the participants made the connection between West African dance movements patterns being the basic movements that can be seen in crumping, such as the constant connection to the floor, the use of free-flowing arm movements, and the large amounts of energy used in each dance form. Due to the fact that Krump is still a new form, with little research done on the historical connection between its origins in South Los Angeles and its roots in West African dance, I have found personally that when exploring and learning both dance styles, the connections I found are in the way that both styles are taught. Both teachers utilize the history and the knowledge behind the dance to create a bigger picture for the students when learning both styles. Although there are still a vast array of differences between the two styles, when focusing on the origins and basics of the styles, the connection to West African dance will always be found. Now that I have finished explaining my research to you, I will now discuss the process I went through to get to this point. These next images go over my process and the resources I used to get to this final stage in my project. The first image is an overview of all the resources I used, including 2 of the many books I used for my research. The next picture is one of the many forms I had to fill out to create my consent form and to get it passed by the ethics committee. This process was one of the hardest and longest parts of my entire project because it was an area that could not be missed. Without the ethics forms, you are unable to have participation within your project, and in my case, having participation from students and teachers was a big portion of my in-class research. For the ethics forms, I created 2 consent forms, one for participants over the age of 19, which all of my participants were, with another consent form for parents if I needed to use students under the age of 19. This step was very important because it gave each participant an overview of my project, their role in the study, as well as an agreement over the course of my research. This last image is of my interview questions, which without, I would have no means to create an unbiased study. I found that it was necessary to include all documents, such as consent forms and interview questions, in my ethics package to get the final stage of approval after 3 tries. The last image is one of my progress reports. I included this in my presentation to explain that through each phase of my project, there was a moment of reflection and explanation of the steps that still needed to be completed. This put together with all my readings and research are the steps I went through to create this project. I hope this presentation provided you with a greater knowledge of the connection West African dance has to Krumping and the many steps involved in creating a senior project. Thank you for your time.